The demon of Virantium, huh? And they called you that before the demon.
Ah, you don't have that enchanted barbed arrow in your quiver because you think it's pretty.
It is, though, isn't it? The red shimmer is the enfeebling magic, and the spike tip is designed to splinter inside the target.
Very nice.
I thought you'd like that. I really hope I don't have to use it, though. Cost me a lot of gold.
That's why you only have the one.
Well, I only need one. Especially from this close.
Thea told me you were fearless. Threatening the demon of Virantium to his face certainly proves it.
You know, it's actually the opposite. I'm afraid of what you are.
And brutally honest. She didn't mention that part.
I've seen demons. I know how they can corrupt. I know it won't even be your fault if it happens. But I won't let someone else turn on my friends. No matter how scared I am.
Good. Keep your bow close. You cannot help but flinch whenever I use my skills. You think, this time he's definitely gone full demon.
It's not personal.
If you're watching me in battle, you leave yourself open to our actual enemies.
The power of the demon-possessed assassin should make up for how twitchy everyone else gets, right? The wing thing, do you do that on purpose?
I don't. Why?
So you just naturally look amazing when spite helps? Some people get possessed and become mounds of pulsating flesh. You get wings.
Lucky me, my demon has a sense of style. I'm giving it back. The arrow stays in your quiver.
I just wanted you to know that
You carried it because you couldn't trust me. Now carry it because I trust you. What's it like when you use your magic?
It's like I'm touching something vast and eternal. A well deep inside.
Not so much like possession.
No, but it was terrifying the first time it happened.
That I understand. Do you find you're always hungry these days?
I do. It's so odd.
It's probably having to lift all those rocks.
But I'm lifting them with magic.
The energy still has to come from somewhere. I have to admit, I don't know much about the Titans.
Well, that makes two of us.
You're strangely open about that.
Is it strange? Hardly anyone knows about the Titans. And it wouldn't make sense to pretend I knew more when I don't, right? So, you and Spite are allies now?
I'm not sure. Less adversaries, at least. Your own situation is different, isn't it?
It was. I mean, it is, but sometimes it just feels like this is just the beginning. There's something deep down, waiting. Does that make sense?
More than you know.
Treviso's really beautiful. The canals, the bridges, the old spires. It's all gorgeous.
Isn't it? I've learned not to take it for granted.
There must be lots to do in Treviso. Anything you recommend?
Killing Antam or Venatori?
Oh, right. Sorry.
If you're still interested in Treviso, you should ask Thea to show you around.
And Dara, Thea? She's so intimidating.
You're joking. Thea?
She's so polished, you know? I bet she never makes a mistake with the silverware.
She does keep track of which ones Viago's poisoned. So, the Red Cliff countryside.
It's beautiful. Green, so many trees, wild berries everywhere. Most of them aren't even poisonous.
Do you have wyverns there?
You know, I've never heard of any around, but there are dragons. They usually don't overlap territory.
Pity.
I just remembered. They have wyverns in Orlais across the border. Nobles hunt them for sport.
I've taken contracts in Orlais, but never in the countryside.
So if you have to take out a target and there were wyverns around, what would you do?
Kill the target and leave the body for the wyverns, of course. I need something for the bait.
And when the wyverns show up?
Nothing. Just seeing a wyvern is the whole point.
You know, I heard there was an Orlesian duke or something who kept wyverns as pets.
You can do that?
It's probably not easy to keep a wyvern.
I already have a snake, and it cannot be worse than keeping Ilario.
How did you become such a good cook anyway? It doesn't feel like a crow thing.
I was stuck in prison for a year. Thinking about how I'd kill my enemies was entertaining, until I ran out of ideas. That's when I started thinking up dishes. The things you make, Harding, are they typical Ferelden dishes?
Oh no, I don't know how to make any of the real traditional staples. My mom always did the cooking. She can make all the classics: jam tart, cider porridge, turnip stew with 50 cloves of garlic.
She didn't teach you how to cook?
Nope, I'm entirely self-taught.
She must have many feelings about that.
But what about tea? Tea is comforting.
I don't require comfort. I require the jolt of wakefulness from a brew as bitter as a year in bondage beneath the waves. Harding, you come from Ferelden, right?
Sure do. Is this the start of a turnip joke?
Everyone likes turnips. No. Are you from Denerim, then?
No, the countryside near Redcliffe. Why?
I've never been to Ferelden.
Lucanis, you've really never been to Ferelden? But I thought you traveled all over.
The crows don't take many contracts there. Not since the Fifth Blight.
I heard Terran Loghain hired crows in his fight over the throne.
And that's why we don't work there anymore.
So the crows don't work in Ferelden anymore because of Loghain? Why exactly?
House Aranai embarrassed themselves so badly on that job, the crows buried 6 different eighth talons.
You're saying they actually die of embarrassment?
Some of them weren't dead at the time, but they got it eventually.
How did you wind up specializing in killing mages, Lucanis?
Katerina wanted to tap new markets.
Markets? You make it sound like selling produce.
They can be similar. You want to sell assassination somewhere, you have to know what people want. Contracts on mages in the south are rare, but in Tevinter, Nevarra, Rivain, mages have status and enemies.
Ah, got it. Sell apples, you only get the apple eaters, but if you sell apples and dead mages...
It worked.
Okay, mages in Tevinter having contracts on their lives, I can imagine. But Rivain and Nevarra?
Seers in Rivain are powerful. Not all of them, of course, but not every Tevinter mage is a magister either. In Nevarra, forget what you know about nobles. The Mortalitasi hold all the power and influence.
Mages are powerful everywhere, aren't they?
Not in the way that puts a price on your head. Fireballs aren't a threat like coin and political pull.
So what special things do you know as a mage assassin? Or can you not reveal that?
There's no secrets to it. Be fast, strike hard, stay out of sight. And if that doesn't work, piss them off.
Why? So they'll make mistakes?
Because it'll probably cause a demon to eat them.
Oh yeah, that would do it.
You've been on this contract from the beginning, right?
I guess so.
What's your assessment of the targets?
Honestly, anybody the Venatori get excited about is trouble.
That's the truth. Harding, you were in the Inquisition when it formed, right?
Pretty much from the beginning, yeah.
How did that happen?
Right place, right time, I guess. They needed folks who knew the terrain around Haven, and I didn't want to watch sheep.
Good career choice. I cannot imagine working for something as big and public as the Inquisition.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way. I was always out in the field, scouting areas, mostly alone. Besides, the Crows are a big public organization too. Everyone everywhere's heard of them.
I think we'd have to spend less time stabbing each other to call ourselves an organization. Is it true that you've met the head of the Chantry, Harding?
Divine Victoria? Yeah, I met her. Before the really fancy hat.
How dangerous is she, really?
On a scale from 1 to 10? I'd give her an 11. Why?
The Crows get a lot of contracts for her.
Maybe don't take them?
Agreed. We have enough trouble.
Have you thought about calling him something else?
Who?
Spite?
Spite?
Exactly. Imagine being called Spite all the time, like broody or short. Wouldn't you forget you could be anything else?
I don't think you understand how demons work.
I understand that they're spirits, and spirits have been known to change.
All right, I'll bite. What other name would you give Spite?
I don't know. Ask Spite what he wants to be called.
Huh?
It's his name, isn't it?
I think it's what he is, not what he's called. Asking just makes him irritable. Your reputation's earned. You're deadly with that bow. There have been many times I could have used you as my eyes.
Huh. Thanks.
You know, if you're ever interested in making a little coin,
What?
the crows pay well for people with your skills.
So, when you say I could make a little coin, you mean for murder?
Assassination, please. And no, that's my job. You'd be watching my exits, taking care of stray problems.
How much coin are we talking?
Depends on the contract. Maybe 6,000?
Gold? 6,000 gold? To watch your back?
Too low? We can negotiate.
That's a herd of goats in a barn. That's brand new books for an entire village.
That's good.
When this is done, you and me, we'll talk.
Long night?
I'm still getting used to the dream thing.
What was your dream about?
Tomatoes. Or maybe they were apples?
At least it wasn't the one where you show up to a job naked from the waist down.
Huh. Where did you put your extra knives? Lucanis, have you ever had a dream where you forgot you had a job to do?
And you only remember it at the last moment? All the time.
And then you go to do the job and your teeth fall out.
For me, it's always, and then I left my boots in Treviso somehow.
Lucanis, the dream where you're being chased by monsters?
Is it the one where you feel like you're stuck in mud? Or the one where you just cannot avoid them?
It was the first one. My legs would only move at a snail's pace.
That one's not as bad as the one where I climb a wall and they're already at the top.
Lucanis, you ever wake up angry at someone for something they did in a dream?
Not personally, but Viago still stares daggers at me for throwing his pet snake out a window in a dream.
How could dream you do such a thing to an innocent snake?
If I ever meet him, I'll be sure to ask what he was thinking.
This smells amazing. Does all coffee smell like this? Or just the stuff you make?
Coffee has a distinct aroma, if that's what you're asking.
Sorry. It was really rare where I grew up. And expensive.
Try everything once. That's what I say.
I want to, but sometimes I just like having what I like.
Nothing wrong with that. So, Harding, what do you think?
It's... delicious.
You don't have to pretend to like it.
I mean, it's good. It's nice and... warm?
Rook's right. You don't have to pretend. I won't be upset if you don't like coffee.
He really wouldn't.
I know, but... sorry. It's just this thing I do sometimes.
Acting so people will like you?
It sounds terrible when you say it like that. I know I don't need to do it. I just do.
Well, everyone you know seems to like you, so you're good.
Good job, Lace.
You must have been pretty tiny as a child.
Where'd that come from?
A tiny dwarven girl in a land of large human farmers.
Oh, yeah. I probably learned pretty quick that things worked out better if people liked me. If they agreed with me, or I agreed with them.
Some people like cream or sugar in their coffee.
Maybe coffee just isn't my thing. I'm not always agreeable.
Aren't you?
Am I?
You're trying to agree with me right now.
Damn it, Lucanis. Jeez. I don't try to be agreeable intentionally. I just don't like being at odds with others. It's terrifying when everyone else shares an opinion I don't.
So you just go along with it? Even if it feels wrong?
I try not to.
You don't have to make other people comfortable. That's all I'm saying.
You know, Lucanis, you always try to keep the other crows and everyone around you happy.
No, I don't. It's impossible to make crows happy.
Oh, yes, you do. You were rushing around helping Taya with funeral plans instead of plotting revenge or something. You made Tosh 5 batches of deep-fried peppers yesterday.
Everyone likes deep-fried peppers.
That's exactly my point. So, do you think you'll ever let Ilario out?
You think I was too hard on him?
No. He's an asshole and absolutely belongs where he is.
For now, at least.
Are you actually saying you might let him out one day?
Katerina could use someone else to yell at besides me.
You and Ilario, that's gotta be uncomfortable.
His family. Of course it is.
You've talked, right? Honestly?
Of course not. You'll have to wait for some public gathering. Katerina's birthday, for example. We'll flip some tables, scream, and take swings at each other in front of the celebration roast. Then, either Taya ties us both up and kicks us down the cellar stairs, or Viago poisons us to get some peace. Family things.
Right. Your grandmother's fascinating. She must have led such an exciting life.
Oh, you have no idea. Ask her about the time she killed a man with a thimble.
Well, I'm gonna have to now because... how?